Hello. I'm trying to think of how to put together this message that I've had in my head since last night. And I have a very noisy parakeet this morning who's making it very difficult for me to concentrate. Try to imagine that you've got lots of friends and even more acquaintances. But then you get in a situation where you're in trouble and you're sick. And you don't want to put your friends out. You don't want to be a burden to anybody. So you keep it to yourself. You keep it to yourself that you're having a scary thing happening maybe, and then you're all by yourself. And you don't know what you're going to do. And then somebody who you barely know seems to see that you're a good person, even though you're walking around and you're sad all the time. They seem to see that you're a good person. And they tell you, they write you a note, and they tell you that they want you to know you're loved, and they think you're wonderful, and they will be there for you if you ever need a friend. And then it turns out that when they figure out that you really do need a friend, they're there for you. And when other people are aware and they're not volunteering, so you're basically taking this person up on their offer, and you're being there with them. You're leaning on them for everything that you need. You're leaning on them for help and support and encouragement on a daily basis, to the point where you're actually having to live with them. And I'm trying to think of the word, put yourself into their life. So I'm trying to get her to shut up. It's not working. Anyway. And they're okay with it. They rearrange their life. They rearrange their world. They go out of their way to help you through this really bad thing that you're dealing with. And for several years, they're there. Like, your other friends are there, but they're not. This person's there every single day, and they're giving you their best effort to be considerate and kind and supportive and encouraging and helpful. And then one day, things start getting better. You start putting your life back together. You start feeling better. You're able to function again and get back into society and have your life back. Do you value the person that was there for you when you couldn't function so well, and you needed help and you needed a friend? Do you value that person that's been at your side, showing you support through some really scary and difficult times? Do you think of them as a friend? Do you treat them like the friend they are, that they've proven themselves over and over and over to be? Do you treat them like that? Or do you just say, oh, well, you're smothering me, and thanks, but I don't need you anymore? What I wanted to talk about is the need that people have for love. We're all raised to think that there's necessities of life. The necessities of life are food, shelter, water, warmth. I guess that, falls into shelter, and love. Love is a necessity for life. And I don't know if I'm the only one that does this. I highly doubt it. But I have my entire life based my own sense of self-worth on how much I was loved or how much I felt loved. So needless to say, I haven't really had that much self-worth, much a sense of self-worth. And it's like when you have that kind of approach to the world, when you judge yourself based on how others respond and feel or don't feel about you, you're setting yourself up for a lot of self-abuse. I have another video I did like a year ago or 2 years ago now maybe called, it's about self-abuse, the most insidious kind of abuse. You're setting yourself up for self-abuse when you are putting your value, your estimating your own value based on how other people treat you or look at you or think of you or feel about you. You know, I was this person who was trying to help a friend, and like I try to do with every friendship I'm ever lucky enough to have, I try to throw my best as much as I can. You know, it depends on each person and how those you know, how you click with somebody, but there's every now and then somebody comes along that I really care for, and this is one of those friends. And anyway, all my life, I don't know if it's because I started out this way with my mom, and you know, it's just been a repeated pattern for me, but it's always been about trying to show the best I have in my heart, hoping that it will have value to somebody, hoping that I will have value to somebody. And then when that somebody doesn't respond like they think I have any value or worth, when they respond like it didn't matter to them or it doesn't count for anything, the best that I tried to give, the best that I tried to show in my heart, when they act like it's nothing to them and I'm nothing, I have no value, even after I've shown the best that I have in me, to me it's like reinforcing the belief I have in me that I am nothing and I am garbage, and no matter how hard I try. And the whole thing about basing your own worth on how much people love you, you know. I remember when I was in, I think it was the 4th grade, we had these little mailboxes on our desks at Valentine's Day, and all the kids were supposed to bring those little Valentines that you can buy. I don't know if you can still buy them, but they used to sell boxes of little goofy Valentines that kids would give each other. And on Valentine's Day, all the kids would go around the class and stick Valentines in each other's boxes. And you're supposed to each give everybody else a Valentine, you know, so everybody gets the same amount. Well, that's not how it worked. And I was always comparing how many Valentines I found in my box to how many Valentines popular kids had, and it always hurt my feelings. This bird, I have to tell you, she lost her mate. He passed away yesterday. He was kind of looking lethargic yesterday morning, and I took him out and put him in the hospital cage, and I got home yesterday from work and he was dead. So unfortunately, it does happen when you have a lot of birds. So she is being extremely annoying right now, and I'm sure it's because she's missing her friend. So anyway, I'm scattered this morning. I haven't had my coffee. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's maybe feeling loved, maybe feeling that you're cared for is a necessity of life. I don't know. But if it is, it's really important, I think, to have a consistent, surefire way of getting it. A way that won't let you down. A way that you're not depending on somebody else for it. Like I have my whole life. Dependent on other people, hoping that other people might love me a little bit, or value me a little bit, or see that I'm a good person a little bit, you know. And when you're depending on that from other people, you're always chasing after it. You're always chasing after it, and inevitably, people let you down, and you pick the wrong person. You think somebody's a good person, well, or you just misread them. You know, we grow up thinking that if you do a nice thing, and this is probably from television or whatever, you grow up thinking that if you're kind to people, it will, but you reap what you sow. The whole you reap what you sow mentality. Or karma, if you're kind, that comes back. And it's not really that way. If you save somebody's life in the real world, it's not like they show on TV. They resent you. They resent you for seeing them at their worst. They resent you for needing you. They resent you for feeling like they owe you something that they can't ever repay. They resent you for, I don't know, maybe they feel like you took away their power when really it was an illness or a bad situation that took away their power, but they think it's like you represent that. Anyway, I don't want this to get too long. I guess I'm reminding myself, I was looking at those videos yesterday that I did of my lizards thinking, holy shit, I look so fat. It didn't help the way I was sitting and I was tucking my chin. When you get older, you gain in different places. I've never had such a fat neck. I've never had a double chin like that in my life. And my face is so puffy. I have a desk partner at work who has been, she sits in my row, and she's been on antidepressants for a few months, and she was telling me the other day that she's gained 12 pounds. And I mentioned that to one of the waitresses I work at the restaurant, and she told me that one of her daughters was on antidepressants for quite a while, and she just blew up. So it makes me feel a little bit better because I've been on antidepressants for probably 2 years now, or maybe a year and a half. And it makes me feel a little better because my face is bloated, and on top of it, I'm going through the change. I'm 50 years old, and that makes your metabolism slow down. And so, in other words, I don't feel very happy with how I look. And looking at the videos yesterday, I was, I couldn't help have the thought, if I had been this beautiful, gorgeous, stunning babe taking care of this guy who lived with me, would he have been proud to show that we were friends? Would he have been not ashamed of being seen with me if I had been beautiful? Would it have been a good thing? The kindnesses I tried to show him if I had been beautiful. Anyway, stupid way of thinking, but I was down on myself yesterday. It's hard to be in a society where we value youth and beauty so much. I'm sure at least 50% of us are not born gorgeous. We're not born blessed with the best genes, We have to really work at trying to look good. And then the older you get, the harder that becomes. And it's discouraging. Especially when you're kind of grow up thinking that you have to be this and this and this to be loved, to find any love in the world. You have to be beautiful. You have to be thin. You have to be young. You You have to have a bubbly personality. All these things that you have to be loved. I've been playing that game my whole life, and it's always eluded me. I've never been enough of one or the other. And I've been dependent on people for how I feel about myself. It's hard to break that kind of a pattern. That's a really bad pattern to have, and it's very destructive. Maybe it's true that love is a necessity, that feeling loved, but I think that the source for that needs to be our own selves. And I think, I don't mind being alone like I used to. I'm not afraid of it anymore. And I think part of it is I'm slowly discovering that the best and most consistent source of love that I can find for me, is my own self. And loving myself even though I don't like how I look sometimes. Loving myself even though I don't like how I treat my friends when I'm depressed and I feel badly that I've hurt them. But trying to give myself a break and love myself anyway, because it's an illness and it's kind of a painful one to have. And every day that I can get up and go to work and keep myself going and keep my animals fed and try to smile at people and try to say something nice to somebody. Every day that I can do that is a little victory. And maybe if I have enough of those, I can come through this and see the other side. So anyway, I have to get to my coffee. It's calling me. I hope this video makes sense, and I hope that if there's anybody watching this who's in the same situation where they're trying to get approval and acceptance and feel like they belong, and they're chasing after others to try to feel that. Unless you're blessed with all the things that it takes to have the superficial form of that, my advice is look inside yourself and look at what you have. Look at your good qualities and look what you have going for you that maybe somebody else doesn't have, who might be more beautiful on the outside, but maybe they don't have something inside that's pretty special. I have to continue to remind myself that I was there for a friend who needed somebody, who needed a friend. I was there for that person. And it doesn't matter if they can't appreciate it or if they can't see the worth in me. I know it was a good thing, and I know that it's not something that just anybody can do for somebody. It's not something that just anybody can do for a friend. I know that because if it was, he would have had a whole bunch of other friends right there for him too. So, anyway, I think about those things. I think of the things that I have in my heart that aren't ordinary, and they don't go away when you get older. So, thanks for listening if you have. Bye.